Hey, rise and shine, everyone. Time now, 8 o'clock here on KARE 11 Plus. We appreciate you joining us. Jason and Alicia here with you. We are halfway through the week, and we are almost out of this cold spell, at least for a little bit.
Almost. So tomorrow at this time, John, how warm will it be?
I think it'll be at 20, probably 30 degrees tomorrow at this time.
No way.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it'll be a full 32 degrees warmer, and that does not include the wind chill. If you include the wind chill, 40 to 45 degrees warmer with the feels like tomorrow morning. So I've been phrasing tomorrow's going to feel weird, and look at what's going on. I mean, you got some extreme temperature changes going on just to the northwest of Thief River Falls. That area, 30 plus degrees warmer when you get out towards Bismarck. I haven't checked it recently, but you can see it is clearly warming. Now it's crazy because we look at the actual temperature and it's 3. All right, we did it. 3 degrees. -6 still in St. Cloud. And this is wild. This shows you how cold they were yesterday. But they are 30 degrees warmer than yesterday and they're at 9. That's remarkable. But you can see the south winds. This is the reason we are going to warm up. Now it actually gave us a pretty low wind chill, so we're still dealing with 10 below. I mean, it's not warm out here yet. Even areas that are 30 degrees warmer this morning still feel like 10 below zero. So we still have to be patient, but by the afternoon, things change. By noon, we're at 1 degree for the wind chill. We'll be above zero all day long for the temperature. Look at the 20s. I think the most remarkable thing about this forecast is the temperatures don't stop warming overnight. That's why we talked about this. Look at this. Temperatures just keep on riding. So that's why tomorrow morning is, in my opinion, the biggest story is not this afternoon in the 20s. That's not that warm. But tomorrow morning in the upper 20s, that is warm. So we'll talk about that, of course, next week. Even Sunday, we got to get ready for the biggest Arctic blast of the year. Didn't mean to spoil the party, but we'll talk about that also. Cece.
Well, good morning. A lot of crashes across the metro. I'll start with this one. Is that me? I don't think so. Maybe it's John. Oh, it's me. All right. It's just Bill. A lot of crashes. There's one in Minneapolis. I'll tell you about that once I get my mic fixed.
All right, we'll try to figure that out, CC. Thank you very much.
It was CC,
It was definitely CC. So before we get to our top story here, an important heads up if you have students in the Fridley School District. The district announced it is canceling all classes and school activities for today. The decision came after a reported threat to school safety. Now, it's unclear what the threat was exactly, but we'll update you as soon as we learn more. We're also following developing news out of Northeast Minneapolis this morning. Last night around 9, firefighters were called to the 19th Avenue area. This is video of that scene that our photographer captured. Not exactly sure what happened there either, but we have reached out to Minneapolis Fire. We'll bring you the latest as soon as we learn more. Turning now to the drama unfolding at the state capitol for the second day of the legislative session.
House Democrats say it's likely several petitions will be filed today after Republicans started business without them. Democrats were a no-show to block Republicans from opening the House with a temporary majority, since the GOP is 1 seat short to do so, according to the Secretary of State. That's why Steve Simon stepped in to preside, only to be ousted by House Republicans, who then moved to appoint their own speaker and move on with business.
There is no quorum as required by the Constitution of the state of Minnesota.
Mr.
The
Secretary.
House may not conduct any further business, and the House of Representatives
Mr.
is
Secretary,
adjourned.
I move to appeal the ruling of no quorum under Mason's 504 paragraph 5 and request a roll call. The Secretary of State is not a member of the legislative branch and has no constitutional authority over the House of Representatives.
Wow, you can watch that back and forth for a while. And Steve Simon said the GOP had no legal authority to do business. House Democrats called yesterday's meeting a sham.
Lots of drama going on
So
there.
much.
And this morning, the results are in from a special primary to fill a vacancy in the state Senate. On the Republican side, Abigail Walters came out on top with 72% of the vote. And in the race among 7 Democrats, DFL-backed Doran Clark taking the win with 38% of the votes. They both advanced to the special election in 2 weeks.
A sense of justice this morning for the 2 Burnsville police officers and firefighter paramedic killed responding to a domestic incident nearly a year ago. The woman charged with buying the guns used in the shooting, pleading guilty in federal court. 36-year-old Ashley Deardahl admitted to buying AR-15 gun parts her boyfriend, Shannon Gooden, later used to ambush first responders. Prosecutors say Gooden could not legally have guns, and Deardahl knew that.
Very much appreciate that Ms. Deardahl has taken responsibility for her portion of this. The hard part is we can't get back what we really want. We can't get back our 3 colleagues that are important to us and the families. So it's hard.
Deardahl will be sentenced at a separate hearing. She's facing about 3 years in prison.
Right now, Southern California is bracing for extremely critical fire conditions caused by a new period of Santa Ana winds. Similar winds to what the area saw when the deadly wildfires exploded last week. Maribel Gonzalez joins us from Altadena with the latest developments.
Officials asking people to remain vigilant as we are expecting the winds to pick back up in the overnight hours, some of those reaching up to 60 miles per hour. This as more than 80,000 people remain under those evacuation orders, including here in the Altadena area where people are still not able to return home. This Altadena street highlights the seemingly randomness of the paths of destruction. One house remains intact, while neighboring homes are reduced to rubble and ash. FEMA assistance is now available for the thousands of people who've lost so much. While the cause of these fires remains under investigation, with multiple agencies looking for answers, we do know that the Palisades fire started within 300 yards of a previous blaze on New Year's Day. Reporting in Altadena, California, I'm Maribel Gonzalez.
Fire crews are working to contain 4 active wildfires as well as hot spots. The Palisades and Eaton fire is still less than 40% contained, and they've burned nearly 40,000 acres.
Another big story we're following this morning, the Supreme Court ruling on whether TikTok can be banned in the United States could come as soon as today. Now, if it happens, there's only days left before it disappears from app stores. Our Audrey Russo looks into the impact of a potential ban.
We could know in a matter of hours whether 1/3 of the country will lose access to an app they regularly use on January 19th. The Supreme Court heard oral arguments last week, and court watchers suspect the justices will uphold the TikTok ban. Now, if that ban is upheld, the app won't disappear from your phone if it's already downloaded. But ByteDance, the Chinese company that owns TikTok, won't be able to issue updates, making it hard to use. TikTok also likely won't be accessible from a U.S. internet browser without a VPN. Also expect it to disappear from app stores. Now, as for users' data, that goldmine of sensitive information, U.S. officials are worried about falling into the wrong hands. Well, it's unclear if those who already have the app will even be able to access their own data after Sunday.
Either users, creators' data is gone, or it's kind of like hitting a pause button to see if there are any additional arguments or actions that TikTok is willing to take in order to prevent all of this from happening.
So with TikTok on the chopping block, users are flooding to new video platforms. On the App Store right now, RedNote and Lemon8 have skyrocketed to the top of the list of most downloaded apps. Now, ironically, these are both Chinese owned, and Lemon8 in particular also is owned by ByteDance. Back to you.
Man, this is going to impact a lot of people.
Tons of people. So many people do it. You see the people crying out on social media like, this is my livelihood, this is how I make my money. And if it goes away like that, they're just lost without it.
It's very unfortunate, and they'll have to find new platforms. I know a lot of them jumping over to these brand new platforms that are coming out now. We don't know anything about these. You don't know what kind of information
It is fascinating that no U.S. company that I know of or have seen yet has kind of made their version. I mean, there's Reels on Instagram.
Nobody likes Reels. What's her name? Cece hates Reels.
I like Reels.
Yeah.
But I'm an older millennial.
Yeah, so am I. And we love that kind of stuff. We love old stuff because we're old. We're getting in a live picture right now from Washington, D.C. Tonight, President Joe Biden is expected to deliver a farewell address to the nation from the Oval Office. Now, Biden's remarks coming just days before President-elect Donald Trump is sworn in. He's expected to talk about his time in office and include a message about the country's future. You can watch it tonight at 7 right here on KARE 11. As for Trump's inauguration, Monday, the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, announced that flags in D.C. will fly at full staff. President Biden ordered them to be lowered for 30 days to honor the life of President Jimmy Carter. The United States Code doesn't outline which day takes preference. Meantime, a statement from the Obamas announced that former First Lady Michelle Obama will not be with her husband at the inauguration. Laura Bush and Hillary Clinton do plan on attending alongside our former presidents. There was no explanation given for Michelle's absence.
Happening today, U.S. Attorney Andy Lugar will step down from his post as top prosecutor in the state. It's standard for appointed federal officials like U.S. attorneys to be replaced when new presidents take office. During his tenure, Lugar inherited the Feeding Our Future investigation, the largest pandemic fraud case in the country. He also started building the case against Minneapolis street gangs using RICO laws.
Back here at home, the World Snow Celebration officially gets underway in Stillwater in just 1 hour. Snow sculpting teams travel from around the world to make these amazing snow sculptures. They're competing for the title of world champion. They'll start sculpting at 9 a.m. The event runs through next weekend. These are beautiful.
Have you been out? You
No,
haven't
I
been to
haven't.
Stillwater yet. Well, this is a good opportunity to go. It's right on the
Yeah.
river there. The sculptures are phenomenal. It's incredible what they can do with a big chunk of snow like that. And I think they start, the big opening ceremony is like today. And I think they start in the morning, or they can start today too. I'm not sure on that, but.
Do they wear gloves while they're sculpting that stuff? Because
Oh yeah, they have the coolest tools.
Okay.
What's fun too is if you go out there, you can see them, how they create them. But if you wanted to see the completed project, Saturday I think they do the big announcement and the winner reveal, and then Sunday is a good quiet day, John. That's when my mom goes.
That's this weekend?
That's this weekend. I'll be out there.
You going Saturday or Sunday?
I'm not telling.
If it's Sunday, it's going to be wicked. So Sunday is the coldest day of the year, and Saturday's manageable. I think if you had plans, of course, you're going out there, or maybe you're going out skiing or something. I have wind chills at around 10 below zero Saturday. That's the warmest it's going to be all weekend long, just FYI. So right now we're at 10 below, and it doesn't feel too bad. So that's why I know it's possible. You just got to bundle up. So Saturday you can do that. 40 below Sunday, I don't know. That's pretty rough. I went to a Vikings game, it was 40 below, but it was less enjoyable. So, and that's TCF Bank. All right, so long time ago. Look at the warmth here in Bismarck. I went and found it. Remember the first weather? I was like, let's go see what it is out there. 44 degrees warmer right now than yesterday at this time. We're 12 degrees. This is rapid warming, and that's what's coming in here. This is going to be us tomorrow morning. We're going to have some crazy 24-hour temperature changes tomorrow morning. Probably not 44 degrees, because Bismarck's weather is, hard to believe, crazier than our weather. So usually their stuff is a little bit more extreme. Warmer this afternoon, a few flakes this evening with that warm front as it rolls in here. Of course, as we warm it up, the clouds are going to come in, so enjoy your last Arctic sunshine. Temperatures crash again on Saturday. Like I was alluding to, Saturday's when they're crashing. Sunday is they're crashed, right? ED, they are too late, crashed. -6 still in St. Cloud, 3 degrees here in the Twin Cities. So single digits to below zero. Better than yesterday. You can thank the start of our south winds, but the south winds, of course, making it very cold out there. -10, -17, -13 in Alexandria. Hard to believe this is warmer, but yesterday was the coldest morning of the year. This is fourth coldest morning of the year, I guess. -7 and -10 this morning for the wind chill. We'll get above zero by noon. So again, I'm expecting kiddos to have recess today. Our kids go out at -10, so they should be out there. They weren't out there, assuming this morning. I guess I didn't ask that question when I was on the phone with Nicole, but by the afternoon, I'm expecting the kids to be out there, and then the warming continues all night. So let's take a look at future radar here. There is going to be some light snow that comes along with this warm front. Warm air brings the cloud cover, which we'll see this afternoon, and then maybe we get a little passing snow shower as this works its way through, but it's going to be just very brief. Tomorrow we're not expecting snow, 32 degrees. If we can hit 32, this will be the first time we break freezing in 2025. We've been that cold for that long. It's been consistent cold. So far this month, we are on average 4 degrees off our average. We're 4 degrees below average so far in January. Obviously, that number I'm expecting to grow because next week looks way too cold. The forecast right now is to have 48 straight hours sub-zero. That would be way, 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 way colder than what we're dealing with right now. So prepare for it Sunday and a Monday.
Get the kids outside while you can.
Enjoy
As
the
John
next few
said,
days. Play with the
kids
dogs.
have been cooped up. They're going a little crazy.
Whatever you need to do, get it done.
Well, change could be on the way for food packaging.
The new nutrition labels the FDA is proposing.
And it's been about 5 months since the Paris Olympics ended, but this morning athletes are asking for their medals to be replaced. We'll explain in 3 minutes.
What do you think lasts longer, those medals or the medals from The Office when they had the Office Olympics?
Oh, those ones. They were yogurtlets. Those last a lifetime. 8:16. Good morning to you here on KARE 11 Plus. All right, if you shop at Aldi, listen to this. Frozen taquitos sold at Aldi's are now being recalled for possibly being contaminated with metal. Yeah. He's right. Best Way Sandwiches is recalling nearly 25,000 pounds of Casa Mamita frozen chicken and cheese taquitos. Aldi says they were sold in stores across the country, including here in Minnesota and western Wisconsin. Food safety, or Wisconsin in general, but our viewers are western Wisconsin. Anywho, food safety inspectors say if you bought the taquitos, toss them in the trash or return them and get a refund.
Unless you need more iron in your diet, then eat away.
How big are the metal chunks?
Yeah. I don't know. If you can swallow them, then I guess, whatever.
Fine.
No, seriously, return them. Don't eat metal. The more you know. You may soon find nutrition labels in a more prominent place on food packaging. The Food and Drug Administration now wants them to be on the front of those wrappers. A proposed label would break down information about sodium, added sugar, and saturated fat content and say whether the food contains low, medium, or high amounts. The label on the back would stay in place. So if the rule is approved, shoppers could see the new labels as early as 2028. I like the idea. Like, just show it up front, let people see it before, they pick up the item.
It would work, because when they put the caloric intake of like your McDonald's Big Mac up when that was changed, I was like, I'm not going to get that now. I'm going to get something healthier. Anywho, well, hey, this morning time is running out for Minnesotans to sign up for health insurance coverage through the state. MNsure open enrollment ends tonight at 11:59, so if you haven't done so yet, you still have a little time. Coverage starts February 1st. State officials say a record 151,000 people enrolled in November and December.
This morning, dozens of medals from the Paris Olympics are being replaced. This comes after athletes complained and posted on social media that their medals were deteriorating. In total, the French Mint says it produced more than 5,000 medals for the Games. Each included an iron chunk from the iconic Eiffel Tower. The Paris Mint says any medals that get replaced will be engraved in an identical way to the originals, and they will still include a piece of the Eiffel Tower.
It's because all the athletes chomp on their medals.
Yeah.
They're just chewing, to make sure it's real.
They're chewing off the metal, and now they have metal poisoning. I hope not. That would be awful. This morning, the U of M dance team is jetting off to Florida to compete for a national title.
Yeah, so it was this time last year. You might remember the world was talking about their Dream On jazz performance. This routine, it was viral last year, catching the attention of Aerosmith as well, which is pretty cool. The governor declared April 24th University of Minnesota Dance Team Day. Morgan Wolf talked with their head coach about their quest for this year's top spot.
They are seeking to defend their title in Palm and then also maybe get a little redemption for taking second in jazz last year. That was the routine that went viral, maybe the most viral dance in Universal Dance Association's history. I danced for 17 years, so I'm well aware of the dynasty that the University of Minnesota's dance program has created and the championships that they've won in the last 2 decades. But now more people, they're aware of it too. It's why their mantra this year, though, is heart over hype. Just 2 weeks ago, the team's Best of the Best show, it sold out Williams Arena. And now the dance team is the most followed Gopher team on social media behind football. There isn't a big organization with multiple employees running the team. It's just 3 coaches, all alumni, and all know what it takes to get first place.
We had really strong performances this weekend. We're feeling it was a good confidence builder. We've gotten good feedback from the people that have seen it so far. So we're excited to just get it in front of judges.
The competition then starts on Friday, and you can stream it if you want to. Just visit UDA's website for more information. At the U, I'm Morgan Wolf for KARE 11 News.
But what song? We want to know a hint.
Espresso.
Another classic?
I could see espresso. Something hip
it's kind of slow, though.
You could something espresso. I was so sad we don't know the lyrics. It's one of the biggest songs of the year. That's all I know. Cece, I'm sure you know the words.
Yeah, I'd have to think. But honestly, if it was like a mashup of espresso and another song, that would work. Like you start out with espresso, and then they're always mashups.
Always.
Always. All right, my mic works now, as you can hear. That crash in Minneapolis that I was going to tell you about cleared, so going to 94 downtown Minneapolis, you're good. But a lot of other crashes like this one in Richfield Highway 77 northbound. This is just north of 66th Street. It does look like the ramp is still open, but we've got a few cars on the side that do need to be towed here, so a lot of action there. Stay left. You see a lot of drivers doing that. They were merging left mostly a few minutes ago, but be careful as you move past this. Not the worst slowing as you head toward Highway 62. Hey, John.
All right, good morning, CC. Well, it was our last cold morning of the week, not of the year. We're doing that next week. But this week, we're done with the Arctic blast for now. So let's look at the low temperatures around the metro this morning. Look at St. Cloud. I told you, with the snowpack, you could just accelerate downwards fast. And St. Cloud did that, 14 below. It was a cold morning. Blaine got to 6 below, Cambridge 11 below. Here in the Twin Cities, around 3 or 4 below zero, Lake Elmo 9. So it was cold. These were the low temperatures. And you go to the north, 15. You can see not as cold in the northwest. So things are changing. We continue to talk about the warming happening. It's odd because I know it's cold. I feel the cold still. Even though it's better, 12 degrees, it's still definitely got a chill in the air. But it's starting to really warm up when you look out west. And temperatures are in the high single digits now, and we just cracked 12, 14 now in Marshall. So this is going to move in here rather quickly. But it is going to be breezy, so the winds are going to be whipping around, and it will feel like 20, 25 degrees this afternoon, and you can see those south winds really cranking out here where we're starting to drive in that warm front. Temperatures still feel pretty cold this morning. This is only going to last another hour or two. So this morning through around 11 o'clock in the morning, I would say it's Arctic. At noon, the change happens. We're going to jump into some of that warm weather, and you'll see that here on the temps and wind chill. -3 through 11 o'clock, and then at noon at 1 degree. A wind chill at 1, while that looks low, and it is, at this time of the year, I believe that feels warm. And that's crazy to say, but we haven't had many days at 1 yet this week. Actually, in fact, this might be the first time, it is the first time, we'll be above 0 degrees for wind chill all week long. And then you get up to the 20s, and you see, even with the breeze, we're starting to feel like the teens. So that extreme warmth is there. Now, with this warmth out in Bismarck, 44 degrees warmer right now. It's extreme. That is coming with some light snow. You can see some flurry activity here in I Falls, Bemidji. This will just swing through. This is actually that warm air coming in. Hard to believe it's coming from the northwest, but that's where our warm air is coming in from. So you can see at noon, it's starting to snow, but North Shore could actually see like an inch or two. We probably are just going to see some on and off snow showers. And the timing of this warm air is 3, 4, 5 p.m. Be prepared if you're out there driving. Evening commute, you probably see some snow showers. I would say lowering visibilities would be the concern, but it's going to be out of here pretty quick. And then by tonight and tomorrow, it's just cloudy. Cloudy skies always come with the warm up, so that happens today, tomorrow. A couple flurries and maybe snow showers in there this evening. And then Friday, a windy day, but 36. Saturday, 14 degrees. I want to be clear on Saturday. That 14-degree temperature is at 6 a.m. By 2 p.m. Saturday, I expect the temperature at 3 degrees. So Saturday is cold, but Saturday is what I would call a very cold day. Sunday is a frigid day. Different. Sunday is going to be like, ugh, I don't want to be out here. Saturday is going to be like, it's cold, bundle up. Sunday, Monday are just, they're really rough sub-zero days. True Arctic air, not the polar vortex. That's how you get to 10 below for a high, but an Arctic high is here. We'll be at 1 below. We might stay below 0 for 48 straight hours to kick off next week. Whoopee! We'll be right back.
Welcome back to KARE 11 Plus. Well, the Minnesota State Fair isn't for another 218 days, but who's counting, really?
Not us.
No.
Not at all.
No.
But already we're learning which artists will be performing this year.
T-shirt, your favorite rock band, checking your makeup and my Ray-Bans, breaking hearts like only you can in your snapback.
Country band Old Dominion will take to the grandstand stage on Thursday, August 21st. That is the opening day of the fair. Tickets go on sale on Friday. It's the second act to be announced for the State Fair.
Old Dominion. All right, so here's something happening much sooner. Judges throughout Minnesota are once again offering free marriages on Valentine's Day. A lifetime of bliss. That's on you, not on the judges. 10 district courts are offering the deal, including Hennepin, Ramsey, and St. Louis County. Interested couples, you have to register ahead of time, but you don't have to live in the county where you plan to get married.
I like the idea of just a small, intimate courthouse
Do
wedding.
it.
You don't have
It's free.
thousands of people. You don't have to spend thousands of dollars. You have a little intimate courthouse wedding, and then afterwards you go and rage with your friends and celebrate.
That's what I did, because my husband's from Canada, so we had to do the whole, immigration paperwork. But it was only $70. We had a lovely 3-minute wedding with Judge, I forget his name, but U.S. Bank Stadium was out beyond. It was Hennepin County.
Okay, that's cute. That's an idea.
It was a good time.
I
And
think
then
it's
we went
special.
out to the melting pot after for a
Oh,
celebration.
I love the melting pot.
Fondue.
So good.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
memories.
Cooking the little lobster in there and the chocolate
No, we
fondue
couldn't
at the
afford
end.
lobster. It was a
Oh,
wedding. I
right.
spent my $70 at the courthouse.
That's funny. Oh, I love that. All right. Well, enjoy the next 3 days. This is a pretty, I don't know if it's cruel because it's going to be weird. Tomorrow morning, you're going to wake up, and I was thinking of changing this 26 to 28 because maybe we get a little dip to 26. I just think the temperature keeps riding all morning long. We're going to be 40 degrees warmer with the wind chill tomorrow morning. It's going to be like, where do I live? And then you'll find out where you live on Sunday. Just wait. Sunday, Monday is going to be harsh. It's, it's really cold. About the coldest we could get. It depends if we have snowpack. If we have snowpack, I'm going to drop that to 20 below. If we lose our snowpack, I'll keep it at 10 below. So the best we can do is minus 10.
Well, you can check your city. It should, you could see some slowing wherever you're traveling this morning, but I'm sure that's going to ease up when we hit 9 o'clock, that 9 o'clock, 9:30 time. I am tracking a crash right now on 169, so I'll show you a live look of that when I see you next.
Good morning to you. Thanks for joining us here on KARE 11 Plus. 8:31 is your time. Alicia alongside Jason Hackett, who I'm still trying to convince to get married at the courthouse, John.
My goodness, don't
I'm
put
showing
me
you
on the
pictures
spot.
of my courthouse wedding.
A lovely
Good
wedding,
times.
by the way.
Anywho, Valentine's Day is what? 3 weeks out?
Oh, romantic.
It's a month out.
Is it a month out?
Yeah, today's the 15th.
Ooh, not even a month. Well, there's 31 days this month, so. Jason, you preparing? You locked in?
I am. It is something that could happen potentially, but maybe
So-
He's
not.
saying there's a chance.
I love let's just keep poking it during live TV. We'll get them there. All right, it is cold out here. Now this morning the lows, -3 to -5. Lows in St. Cloud, -14. What happened last night is we didn't click in the south wind until early this morning. So the temperatures were diving last night, and then we got the south wind and it started picking back up. And that's what's going on here. Now the lows are pretty significant still, especially from the central part of the state, and then you go east, you can see Hayward there, the lowest spot. It's starting to warm though. We're getting into the warmth. This 24-hour temperature change is going to start to get very extreme by the afternoon because Moorhead's 20 and Thief River Falls 26. But if you go out even further, it's 40. So the temperatures right now are at 3. So 3 degrees, still -6 in St. Cloud. So I can't sit here and say that this is warm. It's cold outside. Here are the south winds. You've got them at 20 miles per hour, and we are still dealing with this. Now this morning, bundle up. Just be prepared this afternoon. You don't really need to be fully dressed. I think, like a January day. Maybe some. I'm not saying shorts and flip-flop weather, but it might feel like that. It's going to be way warmer by the afternoon. So maybe shed some layers as you go throughout the day. We'll talk about that big warm-up in my full forecast.
All right, good morning. Golden Valley drivers, 169 northbound between 394 and 55. There's a crash. It's cleared up. There are a couple more cars here. It's way off. It's not hindering the commute at all. But just know that as you head toward Medicine Lake and New Hope, you may see a car that could throw you off a little bit. But otherwise, across the metro, a lot of crashes that I've been tracking are clearing, and there were a lot. So your commute should be pretty smooth, maybe some slowing if you're on 494 or even 394. But other than that, things looking pretty good. Alicia.
Thank you, Cece. Well, if you do have students, listen to this in the Fridley School District. A reported threat has caused administration to cancel all classes and school activities today. The district posting this update on Facebook last night. They have not said what the threat was, but we, of course, will update this story as soon as we learn anything new. Well, in a matter of hours, the Supreme Court could rule on a law that would ban TikTok here in the U.S.
This is happening as some of the app's rivals are seeing a sudden surge. NBC's Savannah Sellers explains.
Amid fear a TikTok ban could take effect later this week, some Americans flocking to Chinese apps like RedNote.
I'm a TikTok refugee.
And Lemonade.
Hello, Lemonade. This is my first video.
Both apps have similarities to TikTok, and Lemonade shares a parent company, ByteDance. The platform's topping Apple's downloads.
We are doing this to spite our own government.
Some say it's a form of protest.
By going to an app like RedNote, they're saying, no, I am in control of where I give my data.
Some users even protesting American-owned Meta.
You will not catch me on Instagram Reels.
The law that could ban TikTok largely focuses on U.S. government concerns that China could manipulate content Americans see or steal user data. TikTok denies this.
TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, is explicitly named in the law. Users, for now, assuming the government isn't prepared to also block other apps like RedNote, but they could eventually be impacted because of their Chinese ownership.
ByteDance could sell TikTok to an American owner. Today, questions swirling if Elon Musk is in the mix to buy it after Bloomberg reported Chinese officials have discussed that, according to people familiar with the matter. TikTok tells NBC News that's pure fiction. Savannah Sellers, NBC News.
Well, this morning, Minnesota House Democrats say they will likely file several petitions in a matter of hours with the state Supreme Court. They're claiming Republicans violated laws yesterday during a dramatic first day of the legislative session. Democrats say what happened yesterday is illegal, yet will likely happen again when day 2 of the session kicks off at noon. Not a single Democrat showed up on day 1 of the first day of the legislative session. Their entire section empty. The DFL's boycott was an attempt to stop the GOP from opening the House with a temporary majority. Even the Secretary of State said Republicans didn't have enough members to do business, but they went ahead passing resolutions and choosing Lisa Demuth as House Speaker.
I am not worried that it'll be thrown out in court. We invite our Democrat colleagues to join us at work.
Very strange afternoon indeed. We saw something on the floor of the Minnesota House of Representatives today that we have never seen in Minnesota history, a completely sham proceeding.
The Secretary of State said the GOP had no legal authority to proceed with House business, so he's planning to file a petition to the state Supreme Court. GOP leaders said they'll respect the court's ruling, but for now they do plan to keep opening the chamber for business.
Boycotting Democrats met yesterday in Shakopee instead of the Capitol. A judge rejected a Republican effort to force a special election in a race that a DFL representative from Shakopee won by only 14 votes. Questions had swirled about missing ballots, which investigators said were likely destroyed.
This morning, we're waiting on charges for the man St. Paul police say shot at officers during a chase on Monday night. Raya Katene has the details.
No one is hurt, but a man is in custody this morning after St. Paul police say he led them on a chase, shooting at an officer with an AR-15 style rifle Monday night. We're not naming him yet because he hasn't been officially charged, but those charges are likely to come today. Police say they tried to pull the man over Monday night after they noticed he was driving erratically. Authorities say he drove off the first time, but that second attempt is when police say he shot at the officer's vehicle out of his own back windshield and then crashed into a parked car on Fuller Avenue. Police say they found a loaded stolen AR-15 style rifle, shell casings, and green tip ammunition in the suspect's car. Records show he was on intensive supervised release after getting out of prison last year, previously convicted of first-degree assault and a drive-by shooting involving dangerous weapons.
Well, happening today, one of the officers convicted in George Floyd's murder is set to be released from federal prison. J. Alexander King is serving his federal sentence in Ohio after being convicted of depriving Floyd of his civil rights. Thomas Lane was released in August, and Tou Thao is set to be released this coming fall. Derek Chauvin won't be eligible for parole for another 10 years.
8:38 here on KARE 11 Plus to California this morning, where the death toll from the LA area wildfires has risen now to 25. It's been over a week since the fires started, leaving thousands of structures and tens of thousands of acres in ashes. And this morning, winds are expected to pick up again, putting the area under another threat. All of this as people are still trying to figure out how this all happened. Here's Amy Kiley with the latest.
I think that we're all on edge.
The National Weather Service says the LA fire risk is higher today after a short reprieve yesterday. It's re-upping the severity of its red flag warning.
What I'm most concerned about for this event is a new fire start.
CAL FIRE now ranks the Eaton blaze as the most destructive in Southern California history. It says the Palisades fire is the second. Officials say together they've burned more than 12,000 structures.
We know everyone wants answers, and the community deserves answers.
Investigators are trying to find out how the fire started and became so destructive. New analysis of images from satellites and a wildfire camera suggest the Palisades fire might have ignited near the burn scar from a blaze earlier this month. As for the Eaton fire's origin, newly released video of flames near an electrical tower on January 7th might be a clue. Experts say a perfect storm of wind and dryness caused the fires to spread rapidly. They say no fire department in the world could have done better with those conditions. But newly surfaced video shows firefighters warned city leaders of understaffing just last month.
If we cut one position, if we close one station, if we close one resource, the residents of Los Angeles are going to pay the ultimate sacrifice, and someone will die.
I'm Amy Kiley reporting.
Time now, 8:40, giving you a live look from Washington, D.C. Tonight, President Joe Biden is expected to deliver a farewell address to the nation from the Oval Office. His remarks coming just days before President-elect Donald Trump takes office. And this morning, more of Trump's key cabinet picks will be in the hot seat as Senate confirmation hearings continue. In the last 12 hours, Minnesota native Pete Hegseth inched closer to becoming confirmed as defense secretary. One key holdout, Republican Senator Joni Ernst, now says she will vote for him. The veteran and former Fox News host spent 4 hours answering questions about his qualifications and allegations of sexual assault and alcohol abuse. Well, time now 8:41. You still may be mourning your Vikings after the season tragically ended on Monday night.
But tonight we can try to move on, move forward, and watch our Wild and our Wolves who are still in action.
Yes.
So let's start at the X. Wild have Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. They'll be in town. Our team, though, still pretty banged up. No signs of Brock Faber, Kirill Kaprizov, Jonas Brodin, Jacob Loco, or Jared Spurgeon. All injured. They haven't been at practice for the last 24 hours.
That's a lot of people.
I know. But hey, we still got some good guys.
Yeah, we do.
Good guys. Puck drops tonight, 7:30.
John, you better start stretching. We may put you in.
He was like on a beer league once.
Yeah, you can do it, right, John?
Boot hockey.
Yeah.
Let's play, baby.
Okay. That's the confidence we need. Over at Target Center, the Wolves are hosting Steph Curry, and the Golden State Warriors are coming off a win against the Wizards in which Anthony Edwards had 40-plus points, but he also has another big fine to pay. So this time he owes the league $50,000 for making an obscene gesture towards an official on Saturday. I wonder what the gesture was. I haven't seen it. Probably telling the official he was number one. Hopefully, he can stay out of trouble tonight. Tip-off is at 8:30. And
what are they?
He's
had so many.
He's amazing, amazing. One of the top 3 players in the league, but he just needs to mature a little bit.
What does the NBA do with these fines? Like, is there a fund and then they donate it to charity, or
I guarantee it.
Probably not. It's going to Adam Silver in his pockets. That's
Thanks a
my
lot.
speculation.
I don't know. And it's just like, God, he's young. He's a kid. I mean, he's got the whole weight of the team on him. I get it. It's a lot of pressure, and he's frustrated. So, yeah, I assume he'll grow up, and he's a good dude. At least we all think so. So, again, the snow this season is disappointing. I'm surprised that we are actually well below this. Now, there are a lot of reasons. I keep going to try to research and, year to year, is it too cold for snow? Is it too warm for snow? And theoretically, you want a warmer-ish winter. Not necessarily warm. You don't want to be above 32 on average, but you don't want to be as cold as we've been to have lots of snow. Again, that's kind of a misconception there, misinformation when you think that, warmer winters mean less snow. That's not correct. St. Cloud's behind, and so is Duluth. Duluth's about half. Everybody's kind of half or more. Twin Cities is losing, though, even across the state. Warmer this afternoon. We are going to see a few flakes. The setup of the snow has been wrong. We've been seeing cold fronts swing through. You want to be on the north side of a low pressure center. We haven't seen that. Well, we did see it this last weekend, but that was still more Brainerd. So, again, it just kind of depends on where you line up on these things. A little bit of luck. I talk about it a lot, at least for snow. Cold air, not so much. That's La Nina, El Nino. And we're seeing 3 degrees out here right now. Look at the 14s, though. It is starting to warm up for real in Ortonville. You can thank the south winds, 10 to 25 miles per hour. Now, the winds make it feel a lot colder. It feels like 10 to 20 below out, so I'm not going to sit here and say it's warm. It's not. I'm taking this one nice break inside, but going back out there, got to bundle up this morning. That will change, though. Look at today. Temperatures start off in the 10 below zero range. By noon, they get to 2. This will be the first time we break 0 all week with the wind chill. That happens at noon. Afternoon, we ride into the 20s. My biggest story for the day is obviously it's warmer. It's this. It's the overnight temperature. It's such a strong warm up that I think we don't cool down into the overnight hours. We just keep riding the high into tomorrow morning. So tomorrow morning is going to be crazy warm. We'll show you that 7-day forecast. My full forecast is coming up in a bit. CC.
I've been looking around the metro at drive times, and for the most part, drive times are getting back to normal, but I am pointing out 94 westbound. You may have to add a few extra minutes if you're coming from St. Paul into the Minneapolis area. Just add a few extra minutes. This is higher than normal. I'll show more drive times and if there's any more crashes after break.
Thanks for streaming with us here on KARE 11 Plus. Well, hopefully you've had some time now to let the sting of the Vikings loss just wash away. The team, though, as you see here with this tweet here, thanking all the fans for the last over the last 14 hours on social media. But it's a familiar scene for us sports fans here in Minnesota who've witnessed our fair share of postseason disappointment. So, what keeps us going year after year, choke after choke, loss after loss? Our Ian Russell tried to find out.
Thousands of Vikings fans took to X to vent their frustration about the team's collapse, and plenty of others made fun of the curse of Minnesota sports as well. Sam Ekstrom among those commiserating last night's loss.
It's a lot of deflation, and it feels like now a trend of the Kevin O'Connell era.
Ekstrom is the executive producer of Locked On Sports Minnesota, covering all of our teams here in the Twin Cities. He knows better than most. It feels all too familiar.
We're into our 34th year without one of the big four, professional sports teams even being in a championship, going back to the Twins in 91.
That's not to say that Minnesota sports have been entirely cursed. Remember, the Lynx had a legendary run of 4 championships in 7 years, and the newly named Minnesota Frost won the first ever PWHL championship last season. But the rest of our franchises can't seem to make it to that same level.
That's what gets people's spirits down the most, is that you're constantly being jerked around and thinking that you've got something here. This is going to be the curse-breaking team, only to have them fall flat.
Just look at our teams this past year. The Timberwolves rallying to beat the Nuggets, only to lose to the Mavericks in the conference finals. The Wild missed the playoffs. The Loons got bounced by the eventual champions, and the Lynx lost a heartbreaking Game 5. Year after year, that much pain begs the question, why do we put ourselves through that? Because misery sure does love company.
It's like we just are destined for heartbreak and disappointment. Dashed hopes, broken dreams.
Doug Hartman is a sociology professor at the U, but he's also a Minnesota sports fan.
Maybe this will be the season. It's maybe Charlie Brownish of us, but never quite let go of our hopes.
He says we tough it out because in all those highs and lows, at least we're not alone.
Sports is one of those things that still has that kind of communal aspect that binds us together, that creates solidarity and connections in many people's lives and daily practice. It's part of who they are, what they do, what they care about.
And for the ones who grew up as fans of these teams, quitting was never really an option anyway.
Fandom's not really a choice. Walking away from it is not an option. So the suffering, the pain that comes with defeat is kind of part of the deal.
So just know this, Minnesota sports fans, you're not alone. And with so many teams in the Metro, there's always somebody to cheer for.
So hi, Miami Dolphins fan here. Would you rather have our existence? We're both depressed franchises here, where we're mediocre and not good enough to even make it to the championship game. We will win 10 games, 11 games, and may sneak into the playoffs, but we haven't won a playoff game since like 2001.
Oh, wow, that's a long
Yeah,
drought.
where it wasn't even on TV, it was on the radio.
Right, but you're just like a garbage team more.
Yeah, and it's just, we haven't been to an AFC championship game since like the 80s or the 90s. Haven't sniffed close to a Super Bowl. You guys have at least
I think it's less
been to
painful.
NFC championship games.
When I think about the
We've been in the Super Bowl back in the 70s.
Time. Yeah, it wasn't around. I mean, I think it's easier on your heart to just be bad.
Okay.
Right?
To just be mediocre?
Yeah,
or?
like the Browns or something, or the Lions for all those years. To just be like, yeah, we're 8-8. It's cute. We had a cute season. But I think the true heartbreak comes from belief. Mm-hmm. And the Vikings have one of the best franchises, most winning franchises in regular season history. I'm not sure. I know we rank in the top 5 all time, and we haven't won anything. That's what makes it so painful.
It's the hope that kills you.
The hope.
But we keep coming back, and we always will.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it starts when you're young, and everyone's like, well, why do you like the Vikings? Well, my parents cheered for the Vikings.
Right. It's family.
So when I put that purple and gold on Remy, I'm like, we're cheering for the Vikings.
Right.
He's too young to
Pass
understand
that trauma
heartbreak.
onto him, that generational trauma.
Don't you feel like, at least for me, it's like there's something special about the trauma. Like, it's like a trauma bond with your family and friends. And
You cope together. It's what he said.
Yeah,
in the
he had a
story.
great
community. It brings a sense of community. It totally does.
I don't know what I would talk about with my friends if we won.
Right.
We complain. That's what we do.
You know when the Minneapolis Miracle happened? I was at a pub, Moose in Northeast Minneapolis. Great job, by the way. But no, we hugged perfectly strangers. I was like jumping up with a stranger, like dancing, and like I don't know him. My husband didn't care. That's the Vikings won.
You just hugged, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
We're dating now.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Husband number 2.
All right.
Yeah.
No, it's not true.
I will say. Wait, what?
What?
I will say, I remember exactly where I was when that moment happened, which is maybe sad because we don't have a Super Bowl, but I was in the middle of Lake of the Woods on the ice. We fixed an antenna on our ice house, and it was like 30 below, right? And I just tilted it right up there. We got the game in the middle of Lake of the Woods. It was pretty special. And yes, I was hugging every single man in that building. It was a great moment. All right, -3 degrees this morning. That was our low. -11 in Cambridge, St. Cloud, 14 below. This was this morning. So yes, still very cold. And then we're going to start to see the transition happen as we go into the afternoon. Now we're starting to warm up as we speak, remarkably warmer. I will say that it's bearable out here. Yesterday was kind of getting into that, like, I don't really want to be out here. I like it either way, but you know, it starts to be harder to think, or you cough when you breathe in. It's not that cold right now. And the changes continue. Bismarck is 44 degrees warmer right now than 24 hours ago. I can promise you, if Bismarck is warmer, we are warming up. Straight up. You can just look at Bismarck. If Bismarck is 20 below, which it probably will be on Friday, we're going to be 20 below. Maybe not going to be as cold as Bismarck, but you get the idea. Trust me, play that game with me. Just start, you know, going to the National Weather Service, look at the Bismarck temp today, and we're going to replicate that tomorrow. So warmer this afternoon, a few flakes this evening, temperatures crash on Saturday. Roller coaster. That's what this is all about. Now, we do have a couple snowflakes that we'll monitor this afternoon, maybe during the evening commute. Not expecting a whole lot of impacts with it. Models are going 0.1 inches. It's more about the temperature. So we're at 3, 6 below. Still in St. Cloud, you guys got to get out of there. Once you get out of there, you'll be done. St. Cloud, you're going to start at 13 below and end in the upper 20s. And we're talking about a 40-degree swing in one day. And you know there's got to be a potent south wind, and we have that right now. Problem with the south wind is it's true double-edged sword. You want it to warm up. It also is keeping our wind chills lower. 10, 17 below. I think we'll see below zero readings for the next 2 hours. Then we'll be done. Once we get to noon, this will be the first time we get above zero all week with the wind chill. Maybe that's sad, but it's a start. 25, 27 this evening. It's going to be wonderful to be outside. By the time we get to tonight, notice the warmest temperature the whole day is 10 p.m. That's how you know you're dealing with the cold, strong, warm front, because we're going to be riding all night long. That's why tomorrow morning you're going to wake up and you're going to be like, wow, it is warm. So you're looking at this snow starting up in International Falls. It looks like a cold front, actually a warm front, and that snow is going to be more persistent up on the North Shore. They'll get an inch or two up here. We are probably going to be dealing with just a few snow showers, but I am expecting that at 3, 4, 5 p.m. Then it's going to swing out of here, and tomorrow or even tonight we'll be done with it. We are going to see more cloud cover. Sun, got to say goodbye to it, right? As soon as you warm up, the clouds come in like clockwork. Even going to see some flurries tonight. Temperatures tomorrow, if we can break 32, this will be the first time this year we'll break 32 degrees. We have literally been frozen for 15 straight days. 28 degrees today, 32 tomorrow. I am expecting to break freezing. It is going to be a very short-lived warm-up. Saturday, temperatures crash starting at 3 a.m. So that 14-degree temp is actually at 6. I'm trying to catch the high at around 6 o'clock in the morning. Anything after 6 is going to be at around 0, 5 degrees. And then, if you just ignore Sunday, Monday, we'll be back to 12 by Tuesday.
Most crashes around the metro clearing, only seeing minor things now, like this stalled vehicle 35W southbound at the entrance ramp from Lake Drive. Only a squad car and one vehicle. Just look out for that as part of this ramp is blocked. We'll be back.
As you get ready to head out the door, here's some news to go with you. More drama, a lot of drama unfolding, in fact, at the state capitol as day 2 of the legislative session is about to begin.
Yeah, very awkward stuff. Legal challenges are likely ahead as House Republicans try to do business when day 2 of the legislative session kicks off at noon. Republicans yesterday opened the House, passing resolutions and choosing a speaker. The problem is that the Secretary of State claimed the GOP didn't have enough members to do that kind of business, which was met by Republican disdain. House Democrats hadn't shown up to work because they wanted to boycott their opposing party. The Secretary of State said the GOP had no legal authority to proceed with House business, so he plans to file a petition to the state Supreme Court. A lot
like
going on
the wild,
there.
wild west. I've never seen anything like this.
All right, John.
Chaos.
All right, let's get out to your 7-day forecast one last time. 28 degrees here today. As we go into Thursday and Friday, we'll stay very, very warm. I'm trying to enjoy it. I think it's going to be very enjoyable. I'm not a huge fan of warming up, but I think everybody's driving their trucks on the ice now, so that's over. Got 16, 17 inches of ice on Waconia, so yeah, I mean, we're full blown. I mean, that ice isn't melting. So yeah, we're driving trucks on the ice now, so it can be warm. I allow it.
All right. I'm only seeing a couple crashes across the metro. Most of them are clearing out right now. So just take it easy as you're on 494 by the Plymouth area and taking 169 as well and 394.
All right, in just a few minutes, the World Snow Celebration will officially get underway in Stillwater. Snow sculpting teams travel from around the world to make really cool-looking snow sculptures. They're competing for the title of World Champ. They're going to start sculpting at 9 o'clock, so in like 2 minutes they start.
Oh, great
That's
day
cool.
for that. Really good day for that.
The event runs through the weekend. It's going to be so fun. Check it out. I love it. When I was there, a team from Ecuador won, and I'm like, wow. Yeah.
What?
You don't think of like a team from Ecuador having a lot of experience with snow sculpting, but they're incredible.
Wow.
And a lot of the sculptures are so creative, and the backstory behind them is so cool.
Yeah, so it says what country they're from. It has like a little placard when you go. You can walk around them. I highly recommend checking it out.
I love that.
I could barely draw a circle. I can't imagine people like using tools and gloves to like intricately like chip out all the details of a statue. It's just some of those things are crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. And we had decent weather for it for the last few years, thank goodness. But they bring in the snow blowers from like Afton Alps and stuff to help.
Lord knows we don't get snow here, but we try. we can give you cold.
It is cold.
Minnesota, cold
But
and
tomorrow
less
it's going to be
snowy.
so nice.
I'm excited.
T-shirts and shorts? We green on it? Okay.
Yep, I
Surf's
mean,
on, everybody.
Yeah, the teachers know when I pick up the kids, they're like, when are you wearing shorts? I'm like, I'll be back tomorrow.
See everybody. We'll be back tomorrow, 4:30.
Wear your shorts.